of switching your 401k provider, especially after changing payroll companies? Well, that's something that I just finished doing, and there were some important pitfalls that I want you to know about. And even if you're not switching 401ks, maybe you're looking to offer a 401k for the first time, this video is probably worth a watch because there are a few things that I did not know about this process. Hi everyone, I'm Jamie Trull, CPA and financial educator, and here on this channel, I love to talk about the different tools that I use in my business and also really give you some real time behind the scenes so that you can actually learn from the things that I've done first. Now, last year, I did an entire series on how I switched payroll providers. I moved over to OnPay, and I've really been happy with it thus far. And so the next step was actually switching my 401k provider. So in this video, I'm going to pull back the curtain on a few things, including the timing traps that I did not expect, what it really costs to move a 401k, which was somewhat surprising to me, and how to make sure that your retirement benefits stay running smoothly even while you're making the switch. And there's one specific mistake that could leave your employees without being able to make contributions for weeks, so make sure to stay until the end. All right, so first and foremost, why am I switching 401k providers? Now, I first set up my 401k for my team just a couple of years ago. And for ease, I decided to do that with my current payroll provider. So I was using ultimately their own in-house 401k. And at the time, that seemed like the easiest way to do it, right? You don't have to worry about different systems and making sure that they're talking to each other. It seemed easy. But honestly, I never felt like I really liked their customer service. And when we switched payroll providers, we realized we had an opportunity to go ahead and make the switch. The plan I was on also happened to be more expensive than some of the other plans that are out there. So looking back, I wish I had spent a little bit more time researching my options. Now, there are lots of tax credits that help you starting up a plan. So that's probably why I wasn't too worried about the cost of it in the beginning, but those credits only last a couple of years, and then all of a sudden you end up paying the full cost of the plan on a monthly basis. And most 401k plans do come with some form of administrative costs, so that is something to really take a look at. Now, when I moved over to OnPay, I could have kept my same 401k. I didn't have to switch it. It just meant that there were going to be some manual things that I would have to do each and every pay period to make sure that everything was paid in. And that was something that I really didn't want to do. I like to automate as much as possible when it comes to all the finance functions, but especially when it comes to payroll. Everybody on my staff is full-time employed and has the same salary. So I put all of that on auto pay anyway, and I didn't want to have to remember to log in and make these transfers. So I decided to look at what options that I had that would integrate directly with my new payroll system, which is OnPay. Now, this time around, I looked at a few different options. I talked to OnPay about what they recommended, and ultimately, they don't have their own 401k program. They actually partner with other providers who that's what they do. And the more I think about that, that's really a better way to do it. Because in this instance, let's say I decided I didn't want to be on OnPay, or I wanted to switch and try another payroll provider at some point down the line. Not my plan because I've really enjoyed it thus far, but just to give myself that flexibility, well, in that case, if I'm working with a 401k that only directly integrates with that one payroll provider, well, now I have a bit of an issue. I'm kind of stuck if I don't want to be doing anything manual. So going with a company that is actually one that partners with several different payroll companies gives you a lot more flexibility to be able to switch in the future. And that's a really good thing. I actually feel the same way when it comes to accounting software and payroll. A lot of people like to have their accounting software and payroll be part of the same platform, like if you use QuickBooks Online to also use QuickBooks Payroll. But the problem happens if you decide you no longer want to use QuickBooks Online. It's really hard to use QuickBooks Payroll with another accounting system. However, if you use something like OnPay or even Gusto, right, then in those cases, you can integrate that with multiple different accounting systems. So when in doubt, just look for flexibility. So after asking OnPay who they recommend, who they partner with, I ended up talking to a few different companies this time around, and I ended up settling on Betterment for a few reasons. Not only was the monthly admin cost of Betterment about half of what I was previously paying, But it also felt like Betterment's process was much more education forward, which as a financial educator, I really appreciate. We actually had a couple of calls throughout the process where they really explained not just the process and what was going to happen, but also my options. I really felt like I had an understanding of what my options were and a little bit more guidance and willingness to be able to ask and answer questions. Now, I'm a finance person, but when you start talking to me about safe harbor plans, I kind of glaze over a little bit. So having somebody to be able to ask those questions and really understand what they were talking about really helped. And I think this is especially important for very small companies because there are a lot of rules and regulations and things where you can actually get yourself into hot water. For example, if you end up having a plan that is weighted too heavily towards owners or towards highly compensated employees, that can cause an issue with passing all the tests you need to pass to be able to be compliant with all the laws around 401ks. And that can get really sticky. And I actually had an issue with my prior 401k where I had to take some of my own money out of the plan the next year because we didn't pass some of those tests. Well, when I moved over to Betterment, they fully explained how to set up a safe harbor plan, which ultimately means setting up the rules such that there isn't risk that that is going to happen. Right? Where we can automatically be able to pass those tests and not have to potentially risk having to take money out or other issues come up. And the key to that was just making sure that the matching mechanism that I had set up for my employees actually was one that would meet the requirements of a safe harbor plan, which again had never been discussed with me previously. So that education forward approach with an actual person that I got on the phone with to talk through this was really, really huge for me. And that's what made me feel really good, might I say, better about moving to Betterment. So let's walk through this switching process step by step so you can hear a little bit more about it. So step one is obviously to decide on the new 401k plan that you plan to move to. I highly recommend talking to your payroll provider and understanding who they partner with and who has a direct integration that makes it so that you do not have to manually be moving money around, right? We don't want to do that. We want something that is a direct integration all the way through with no work on your part. So talk to them about those options and then go and speak to a few of those companies and ask them questions and understand their fee structure. Now, step two is to reach out to both your old 401k, if you have one, and the new 401k company and discuss the process. Now, you'll probably need to give your old processor at least 30 days notice, sometimes more. And honestly, based on my experience, I recommend telling them as soon as you can that you will be switching. And it's also important to know that there might be a cost that they charge you for the switch. This was something I didn't expect. This goes back to another woulda, coulda, shoulda. I wish that when I had set up my 401k, I had fully read all those terms and conditions. I know, but I didn't. And turns out there was a one-time termination fee if we were switching plans. And in my case, that one-time termination fee was not small. Now, of course, being me, I did call to try to negotiate that down. And while they couldn't give me a discount on that transition fee, they did actually give me a discount on the couple of months where we were going to be moving over. So they were able to essentially reimburse me for the admin costs for about 2 to 3 months while we made the switch. So that at least made up for a little bit of the money I was spending on that switch. Now, personally, I'm a really big fan of making the best decision for your business in the long term. So don't just think about what the short-term cost is. If it's the best move for you in the long term, it may still be worth it. Don't stick with a solution that you do not like or isn't working for you simply to avoid some cost. Now, there can also be a cost to get started on your new plan, but I recommend, again, talking to the new plan that you are moving over to see what might be able to be waived. They want your business, so they're often going to be willing to work with you a little bit. It never hurts to ask. So the next thing you're going to want to do is work with your new provider on determining what your plan setup will be. And this is where I really recommend, whether you're using Betterment or another provider, to actually get a call on the books to talk to an expert who can answer your questions. I really liked the fact that when I got on this call, they brought up a document that had various different options and plans that I could choose from. And they gave me all the time I needed to ask questions to make sure I was making the right decisions for my business. And I'm going to say, I highly recommend if you are a small business, right, maybe under 10 or 20 employees, that you go with a safe harbor plan. It might mean that you're offering a little bit of a higher match. However, you won't have to deal with the headaches of potentially not following some of the regulations. That is not something that you want to deal with, and you don't want to deal with fines and penalties on the back end. So safe harbor is often something to really look at because it really just protects you as the owner. And make sure to ask all those questions. Don't feel like any questions are dumb questions. This is the time you want to understand what you're walking into and also be able to explain it well to your employees. Now, step 4, and this was probably the one that gave me the most anxiety throughout this process, and I want you to learn from my mistakes. You need to really handle the crossover timing. And this is where it got a little bit more complicated. So ultimately, I switched my payroll provider first. So I'd switched over payroll. My employees were being paid through OnPay, my new payroll system. However, my 401k was still with my previous payroll company. And what that meant was OnPay was withholding those deductions still from my employees' paychecks for the amounts that were going into their 401k. But then I had to actually go and manually contribute those amounts in. Now, what that looked like for me was doing an ACH through a web direct way to make those contributions. Again, depending on what your plan is and how they do things, it may be different. But I also realized that there were rules on how quickly I had to do that. So the first couple of times, again, my old 401k did not explain this to me well. I actually didn't know that I had to go in and do this manually. And I accidentally let about 2 weeks go by after the very first payroll that I ran where the money wasn't going directly into the 401k. And unfortunately, when I finally ran that ACH, I also had to have interest calculated because I waited over the 7-day period. And that meant that because I didn't remit those funds into their 401k on or close enough to their payroll date, that I had a little bit of interest. Now, it was like $2. It was not a significant amount, thankfully. However, that's just something to know about. Now, here's the other important thing to know about this timing. And this was the thing that really threw me. So there is a blackout period with your old provider while they are transferring over assets. So in my mind, I just figured, okay, I will turn off my old plan on December 31st and I'll turn on my new plan on January 1st. But unfortunately, that's not actually how it works. So what ended up happening is that we ended up getting our new plan set up and running. Granted, the assets hadn't been transferred over yet. However, we had started to make our contributions to the new plan instead of the old plan. And that was because there was a several-week blackout period where we could not contribute to the old plans. And that wouldn't be so much of a problem, except legally, we have to allow employees to be able to contribute to their 401k. We can't just say, well, this month you can't contribute. So in that case, what we ended up doing was trying to time it such that the blackout period where everything was being moved over was while we had the new plan in place. So there was a little bit of overlap where we actually had 2 plans. And then finally, by the end of the first month, we had all the assets moved over into the new plan and we could fully shut down the old plan. So that was a big learning that I think had I understood that, I would have planned it a little bit differently. And again, that would have been on my old plan to explain to me, and they really just didn't. And in fact, whenever I called, they gave me all kinds of different explanations and timelines. And so it made it really hard to figure out what I was supposed to be doing. So here's an example of this. If you say want to start a new plan, and maybe you're going to start it in January, I would get that plan up and running at the beginning of January so that the first pay period you have, for me, that's around January 15th, ends up being when the new plan is open. However, because that asset transfer can take more than a pay period to switch over, you will want to have started the process of closing down your old one at the same time. So ultimately, the December 31st paycheck went through as normal, and that went into the old 401k. Then we immediately shut that down on January 1st. opened up the new one such that it would be able to take the new contributions by that middle of January pay period. And then by about the middle of February or so is when all the assets had finally been moved over and my employees could actually see their full balances in one place. Again, it's confusing, but what I learned is it's okay for there to be a little bit of overlap. Actually, that can help in the process. The key is just making sure that you don't miss a pay period of people being able to contribute to their 401k. All right, and then step 5, the last step of this process, is to integrate your payroll with your new 401k so that everything runs automatically. But this was actually a really easy process. I just went into Betterment and was able to select OnPay and connect those directly. And then I could get it set up for auto pay and auto approvals so that I would not have to do anything. You don't have to set it up for auto approval if you really want to manually get in there and approve those amounts every single month. Have at it, enjoy it. I certainly do not. And my amounts don't really change. It's pretty rare for my employees to go in and change their withholding amounts. If I know that they did, I might go in there and spot check and just make sure everything is looking good. But overall, I want as much automated as possible in this process so that I don't have to think about it. So what are the things that I learned a little bit the hard way? Well, not all providers are created equal. And of course we know this, but I think when we're thinking about sometimes financial tools, it seems like what's really the difference between one 401k provider and another? And I will tell you, there can be a really big difference. Same with payroll companies. And the reason that I really love both OnPay and Betterment is they both excelled, went above and beyond when it came to this process. Communications were fast. I would get emails to approve things when needed. They would follow up if I didn't respond. It definitely felt like they took an interest in making sure this went well for me. They also, like I said, answered any and all questions that I had during the process. So that was so much better. With my old provider, I kept having to call their 1-800 number and sit on hold for eternity and bang my head against a wall and then get somebody that, gave me a different answer than the person before. And it just felt like I was going round and round. In this case, I had a specific associate that was helping me through the process, and I thought that was huge. And the other thing that I learned is that termination fees are real, and so make sure to notice if there are termination fees for your plans or, moving that over if there's a cost associated with that, and also what the cost is of getting set up, and never be afraid to ask nicely, of course, for a discount. My other learning, like I just mentioned, was all about timing. Timing really matters, but thankfully it's not about, flipping off a switch and flipping another one right back on. Overlap will help you, and it'll make sure that you don't accidentally have a lapse in when your employees can contribute to their 401k. So again, ask questions both of your old and new provider to make sure you can get all of that aligned. But at the end of the day, it's okay if it takes a little bit longer for your assets. The key is to just make sure that employees are able to contribute at all times. And the other learning is just to make sure that you've done your research and vetted your options ahead of time. Spend some time on this. I wish that I had. I went the easy route and then I kind of paid for it a little bit on the back end. Such is life, I guess, and that's why I get to come here and give you these wise words, but just do a little bit of research and make sure it feels like the right fit. Don't just pick it because it seems like the easiest and the quickest thing to get started. If you've got questions about my process to switch, ask me down below. And also, if you're looking to switch payroll providers and want to understand what the best thing for you is, you can go to jamietrull.com/payroll, where I compare various different payroll platforms. I've used all of the ones that I compare, so I can talk specifically to them. If you know it's time to move to a new payroll system and want to understand why I moved to OnPay, definitely check out the video on your screen next, which talks about my process of making that decision. You can also learn more about OnPay and also get a $100 bonus for signing up if you use my link, jamietrull.com/OnPay. I'll see you soon.